Okay. Thank you for having me, Barb. It's a blessing that I'm able to share my notes on some calendar study while we are going through the Torah study, and I would like to dedicate this to all the truth seekers out there, and also to my fellow people from the Philippines, my friends. So from time to time, I might emphasize on my native language, but these studies for calendar study and for the past Torah portion. And I just want your assistance on going to the next page if I need to. So yeah, let's go to the next page. So here, can we go to the next page, please? So here, we're going to dive into the Exodus 16 and 19. But here, let's start with what does the scripture say about the Sabbath? The Sabbath is the seventh day of the week. That is all it says. But whose week? Yah's week, established at creation, or the Gregorian pagan planetary week? We can learn the answer to this question by paying attention to the details given in Scripture. Creation week began the first month of Earth's history described in Genesis 1:1-2. If last month began with a new moon and the second month after creation began with a new moon, what do you think the first month of the first year of Earth's history began with? So the answer would be new moon, of course. The unnamed, unnumbered segment of time described in Genesis 1:1-2 was dark, unilluminated, and it's not part of the six-day work week. In this creation model, the Sabbath was indeed the seventh day of the week. It always has been, but it was the eighth day of the first month. Looks like this. So there's a graph here on some tables where we can see New Moon Day and the first day of the week, which is numbered 2 to 7 work days, and the seventh day of the week. So we can see that, and we will elaborate on it more. Let's go to the next page. So here, when does a biblical day starts? Let's look when time reckoning for Earth was introduced. So day one, Yah's day one of work day. So Yah created the details of creation in Genesis 1. As we can see, the first day he created light, or light was called forth. The movement of light created two separate 12-hour entities, daylight for day and darkness for night. So Genesis 1:1 is a point in time called the beginning. And there we can see also there's a pre-existing creation in day one, which is earth and heaven, heavens and earth. So in Genesis 1:2, another thing exists as well. Darkness was present, but not yet called night at this time, and water also already existed. So to say that chicken and egg, who comes first, night or day, has been a conversation for truth seekers. But here we can see clearly that the night portion, or the darkness portion on the left side, is not yet called night, while the night portion after the light was introduced was first called night after the daylight was introduced. So Genesis 1:3-5, it says their light was introduced to alternate with darkness. And then now the darkness was called night for the first time. And there's the first evening came, and morning came, or sunset came, and dawn came. We will elaborate on it more. But here we can see that this is a clear distinction. The alternate segment of day and night, you can see it on the first day. So when you say 40 days and 40 nights, it's talking about the combination of the 12-hour entities, which is the day portion and the night portion. So this darkness on the left side never exists, never called night yet. It was called night after the daylight was called forth. And here, in my native tongue, it's even clearer. It says here, at tinawag ng Elohim, and Elohim called the day liwanag, as the light as day na araw, at tinawag niya ang kadiliman na gabi, and the darkness night. At nagkahapon, meaning it's going in the afternoon and evening. It's very clear. At nagkaumaga, it's getting towards the morning or dawn, the first day. So you can see here, even in our native tongue, the translation is very clear that day one consists of the daylight portion, and it becomes evening, and then morning came, and this segment of time for day one is established. So let's go to the next page. This covers only the first day of the first month of Earth's history. And while it may be new to you, nature does not lie. Scripture does not lie. The months in Scripture are lunar, and each month begins with a new moon, including the first one. So if we are going to be honest with the text, we have to recognize the new moon in the creation account. Please note that nothing in the text had to be disregarding, and nothing to be added to the text to see a new moon at the beginning of the first month. All we have to do is open our eyes with recognition. But what was created during the segment of time that existed before the work began? Genesis 1:1-2 says heaven and earth. What this means and what it entails becomes clear based on what was done on the next day, the first day of the work week. And it is at this juncture where some folks refuse to see, or many folks refuse to see, even though it is inked in the page, even if it's written in the page. As we can read in Genesis 1:3-5, and Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw the light, and it was good. And Elohim divided the light from darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So at least not only by words, we can see the picture on what was established, day, then night. So the first night is after the day was created. So let's go to the next page. There's only one light source on earth that can divide day from night, which is the sun. Please note that from the moment on the darkness that would come upon earth was due to the lack of sunlight, and the day-night cycle in that order was set. Please also note that if the sun was not lit on day one, how are there 3 numbered days before 4th weekday of creation? The Hebrew word day or yom means heat, as in from the sun. Since the Hebrew understanding of the day requires sunlight, again, how were there 3 days before the 4th day of creation? Actually, there were 3 days and 3 nights, as we can see on the picture, the alternating of the day and night. So there's 3 days and 3 nights. Every creation day it's mentioned, according to Genesis 1:3-5. This separation of day and night is the sole responsibility of one great luminary lit on the day, the sun. The sun, moon, and the stars were not created on day 4. Can this actually be proven from Scripture? Sure. Moses used 2 different words in the creation account. One means created from scratch, which is bara, Strong's H1254, an example of which is found in Genesis 1:1. The other doesn't. An example of the other word is found in Genesis 1:16. So Moshe really knows the difference between those 2 words, and he could have used the same word as Genesis 1:1, but he didn't. So let's look at the next page. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning the fourth day. So the same combination, there's evening and there's morning the fourth day, after the day was established or was declared. So this word made, H6213, is used several times during creation. This is the Hebrew word asa. So this is different from bara. So let's look at the next page and see the definition. So bara, which is used in Genesis 1:1, it's called absolutely to create. So you can see other meaning there, but the way it is used here, it's absolutely to create. So that's what is used in Genesis 1:1. And in Genesis 1:16, it's the word that Moshe used is asa, meaning to do or make in the broadest sense and widest application, or to appoint. Let's look at the next page and see some practical example. Here's the scenario. Yahuwah created the earth and other celestial bodies at certain point in time defined in Genesis 1:1-2. He says, and Yah created the heavens and earth. He doesn't call it day. He did not call it as a day, meaning there's morning, evening, then morning came. No, he did not call it. Because the timepiece that regulates the day was not yet ordained as such. Then at the beginning of the first day of the week, Yahuwah lights the sun, creating light, and of course, day and night as a result. If the earth and sun were created during the initial event, it is plausible that the other objects in the heavens, planets, moons, etc., were created as well. We are not resting Scripture. We're not forcing Scripture when we make this statement, because the underlying Hebrew should have been translated in this way. So asa means made from something, or advanced upon, or appointed. The Hebrew word made would be used in this sentence. I made, or I asa my bed this morning. The bed was not created from scratch this morning. It was already there and was advanced upon and made it ready for use the next night. For example, he appointed, or he asa the moon for seasons. Psalms 104:19. Here David very nearly quotes Genesis 1:14. Only is very specific about the role of the moon. Genesis 1:14 says that two great luminaries in heavens were created to regulate signs, seasons, days, and years. Seasons here in Psalms 104:19 is the same Hebrew season found in Genesis 1:14, moedim, meaning appointed times or set feast. Leviticus 23:1-3 calls the weekly Sabbath feast using the same Hebrew word moedim. So right from creation, the Sabbath has been regulated by the luminary in the heavens, not by a man-made calendar created for the express purpose of worshiping false gods. So even if we review Leviticus 23, the whole chapter, even the Shabbat is one of the moedim. So let's go to the next page. Now let us look at our study, the focus of our study. Now let us look at Exodus 16. On the 16th day of the second month, the children of Israel received their first bread from heaven. And maybe breadcrumbs for us in our generation about the calendar. Let's read Exodus 16:1. And they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second new moon, after their going out of the land of Mitzrayim. So here we have an anchor. It says here, the 15th day of the second month. And Moshe and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, at evening you shall know that Yahuwah has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, and in the morning you shall see the esteem of Yahuwah. For he hears your grumbling against Yahuwah. And what are we that you grumble against us? And Moshe said, in that gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning bread to satisfaction. So they arrived on the 15th. So on the morning after the 15th, which is the 16th, Yahuwah is giving them the first time the bread for satisfaction. And Yahuwah hears your grumblings which you make against him. And what are we? Your grumblings are not against us, but against Yahuwah. So let's go to the next page. So let's do another drawing here so we can see what's going on. So they arrived on the 15th day of the second month. So day one of manna was in the morning after they arrived. So here the first day of manna is the 16th day of the second month in the morning, first time they gathered manna. And they were told, so let's read Exodus 16:19 to 20, and Moshe said, let no one leave any of it until morning. And they did not listen. They did not listen. This is the first time they gathered the manna to Moshe. So some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stunk, and Moshe was wroth with them. So this is the first time they saw the manna, the first time they gathered the manna, and with some of them greedy gathered more. And as we can see, the manna before dawn, so before the next morning, manna were still okay at night. And this also proves that this night portion, or this alternation of day and night, proves that this is how the day is reckoned. So it was not, it did not stink, or no worm was found until morning. So this just proves that this is part of day one, not day two. So as we can see, even here, we can have some reckoning, not only on the weekdays, but also on when the day starts. So let's go to the next page. So they repeat the same activity days 2 to day 5. On the 6th day, which is, if you count 16 to 21, is the 6th day of the second month in the morning, first time they were instructed to gather twice as much of the manna or bread they usually gathered. It says here on Genesis 16:22 to 25, and it came to be on the 6th day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers of each one. And all the rulers of the congregations came and told Moshe, and he said to them, this is what Yahuwah said, tomorrow is a rest, Sabbath set apart to Yahuwah. That which you bake, bake, and that which you cook, cook, and lay up for yourselves that is left over to keep until morning. So this is the first time they were instructed that it's okay to cook the leftovers until morning. And they laid it up until morning. And Moshe commanded, and it did not stink, and no worm was in it. And Moshe said, eat it today, for today is a Shabbat to Yahuwah. Today you do not find it in the field. So as you can see, the segment of time as well, remember that during days 1 to 5, and then the following morning, if they gather more than they should have gathered, the bread will be stinky and there will be worm. But on day 6, they gather twice as much, and the following morning, nothing stunk and no worm was found. And it was also established that in the morning, tomorrow is a Sabbath rest. And this is the 22nd of the second month. No manna can be gathered. This is one of the many proofs of calendar of Yah. This day, the 22nd day of every month, is always a Sabbath. So this is a proof on Exodus 16 that you can see that this is a Sabbath. Let's look at another graphical so it will stick to our mind. Let's go to the next page. So here, let's just review the week of what happened. They arrived on the 15th, and in the morning they first gathered the first day of manna. So they gathered the 16, the 17, the 18, the 19, the 20, 5 days in a row with the same number of manna, just enough for themselves. But on the 21st of the second month, they gathered twice manna. And because tomorrow is the Sabbath, which is the 22nd, so if tomorrow is 22nd, the Sabbath, 15 is the Sabbath, 8 is Sabbath, and 29 is a Sabbath. So this calendar, how this is arranged, is the same as Creation Week. And as we can see, we established that Exodus 16 proves that the calendar of Yah is this calendar. So let's look at Exodus 19, if it holds true as well. So here on Exodus 19, so if you ask around or research around, some of the interpretation of Exodus 19 is that they arrive on the first day of the third month. But let's look at the context, because when we look at the context, we will understand whether they arrive on the first month or on the third day. So let's look at the next page and do a study on this one, or on the 16th. So on the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day. So it says here the third month. So some translation is third new moon, but it says here the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in their wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And let's look at Numbers 33:33. It says here, and they departed from Ramesses in the first month on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in sight of all Egyptians. So they left at Goshen on the 15th day. And in Deuteronomy 16:1, to be specific, it says here, observe the month of Abib to keep the Passover in Yahuwah the Elohim, for in that month the Abib in the month of the Abib, Yahuwah the Elohim brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. So we have an anchor here. They left on the 15th at night from Goshen. So let's look at the next page. So here we have a witness in Jubilee 1:1-2, and it came to pass in the first year of Exodus of the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim in the third month on the 16th day of the month that Elohim spoke to Moshe on the third month and the 16th day of the month. So here it's very specific. There's no computation. It says here they arrive on the 16th. Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Torah and the commandment which I have written, that you may teach them. So the evidence in Exodus 19:1 says that the children of Israel arrived in Sinai on the 16th day of the third month. Please read on the context. Moses indicates that the children of Israel rested at Rephidim the 15th of the third month. So they arrived in Rephidim, they rested in Rephidim on the third month. So the same day they left. The root word for Rephidim means rest. And this passage says that they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai the same day of this month that they left Egypt 2 months earlier. If you'll remember, Israel got as far as Sukkot because they left at night and they arrived at Sukkot on the 15th, but they actually left the land of Egypt on the 16th. So we can say for certain here that the third month that they arrived on Mount Sinai is not the first, it's not the 15th, but on the 16th day they arrived at Mount Sinai. Now that we have this anchor, we can proceed with our study on the next page. And Moses went up unto Elohim, and Yahuwah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. So that's 19 verse 3. And in 19:10 to 11 says, And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Go unto the people and sanctify them today. So today meaning the day they arrive on the 16th, and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahuwah will come down in the sight of all the people about Mount Sinai. So here we establish the 16th as the today, and the 17th day as tomorrow. So let's go to the next page and review what's the third day. So the third day is the 18th. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass that the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and thick cloud upon the mountain, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. So this day is the 18th day, the third day. So let's look at it on the calendar, how it looks like. So using the same template on the calendar, they arrived on the 16th day, which is today, and the 17th, which is tomorrow, and 18 is the third day. Third day of what? Third day of the week. So if 18 is the third day of the week, 19 will be the 14th, 20 will be the 5th, 21 will be the 6th, and 22 will be Shabbat again. So if 22 is Shabbat, 15, 8, and 29 are also Sabbath. So as we can see, it's very consistent. This calendar also proves that Exodus 19, the calendar that they use, is the same calendar as Creation Week. But our study will not end there. Let's look at what else we can pick up on the Torah portion on this study. And so let's proceed. On the third month, we established that Exodus 24, 12, on the third month, and Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Come up to me in the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. So this is the third month. We already established the 16th as today, the 17th as day as tomorrow, and the 18th day as the third day. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mount, and Moshe was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So here it says 40 days and 40 nights. Now we have a good exercise already what it means 40 days and 40 nights. These alternate days and night, which one day consists of a day and night. So it says here 40 days and 40 nights. So Moshe went into the midst of the cloud to see Yah, to be with Yah. And the remaining days of the third month, so if there are 30 days on that month, the remaining days of the third month on the third day will be 12 days if there are 30 days of the month. If there are 29 days only, the lunation is only 29 days, then there will be 11 days. So in this instance, let's just say there are 12 days, so from 319 to 330 is 12 days. So to make up the 40 days, we have to add 28 days on the fourth month, days 1 to 28. So let's look at that example on the differentiation of if the third month is 30 days or if it's 29 days. Let's look at this next page. So here in the third month has 30 days, then the Feast of Weeks is 428. So the left picture, I think it's this year, if it has 30 days, then the Feast of Weeks is 428. As we can see that it's a back-to-back Sabbath. But otherwise, if it has 29 days, then the Feast of Weeks or Pentecost is 429. It's a high day, it's annual Sabbath, and also weekly Shabbat. So just like the other feasts. that we have, the Passover, the Tabernacles, it's always a high day, a weekly Shabbat, and also a feast, an annual Sabbath. So let's look at the next page. So as we can see, the 40 days and 40 nights also align the Feast of Weeks or Pentecost. So the 40 days and 40 nights, that the count that Moshe was with Yah to get the Torah, the 10 Commandments, was 40 days and 40 nights. And it aligns also with the count of Pentecost. And it falls on the same days, even if the third month is 29 days or if the third month is 30 days. And here in Leviticus 23:15-6, we are instructed how to count onto the Pentecost. Here we are counting 50, so don't be confused with 40 and 50 because they arrive on the 16th. And the count to Pentecost starts on the 9th. So from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheep to the wave offering, you shall count for yourself 7 completed Sabbaths. I will explain it in a picture form after this page. Until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath, you count 50 days. So you count 7 Sabbaths, and on the morning, you count 50 days to reach your Pentecost count. Then you shall bring new grain offering to Yahweh. So you have your grain offering by that time. So by that time, it's around 4 months, you'll be able to bring your grain offering. Let's look at the next page. So here it's a little bit small, but let's just bear and look at this one. We can look at this online in World's Last Chance, but the first month on the 15th, that's Passover. And on the 16th, the next Sabbath, which is the 22nd, you count your first Sabbath. And 22nd and 29th for the first month, you have 2 Sabbaths. And in the second month, you have 4 Sabbaths. So that's already 6 Sabbaths. So on the third month, on the 8th, it's that's your 7th Sabbath. So on the 9th, you count to 50. If you have 30 days, which is on the left, you have 30 days there, the green 30 days, then your Pentecost on the 4th month will fall on 4/28. The 4th month, the 28th day of the 4th month. Meanwhile, if you have 29 days on the right side of the 3rd month, if you have 29 days, then your count will be your feast day will Feast of Weeks or Pentecost will be on the 29th. So it's the same as how you do it on Pentecost on the 40 days and 40 nights because it's simple. They count 40 days, but on the 9th, starting from the 3rd month on the 9th until the 18th is 10 days. So you add 10 days plus 40 days is equal to 50 days. So however you count it, Moshe was there for 40 days and 40 nights, or he was there 40 days or 40 nights of the 50 days that we are supposed to count. So the bottom line is that he was there until Pentecost. So let's go to the next page. So as we can see, likewise, this will also explain the 4 months Yahushua was referring to in John 4:35. And our anchor here is the Passover. So in John 2:13-16, and it says here, the Passover of the Judean was near. So it's near. So it's the month is Abib. It's near. And Yahushua went up to Jerusalem, and he found the set-apart place, those selling oxen and sheep, and doves and money changers sitting, and having made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the set-apart place with the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the money changers' coins and overturned the tables. And he said to those selling doves, "Take this away. Do not make the house of my father the house of merchandise." So we are familiar with this picture. So it was the Passover or Abib is in that month. So let's look at the next page. So this is a notes clipping that I have, which detail it very clear. So John 3 and John 4, it says here, after an evening meeting with Nicodemus, he headed to Judea for a short visit with John, who was in that region. That's John 3:22 to 36. Then he headed toward Galilee in John 4:1 to 3. On the way, the carpenter from Nazareth, was exhausted by the quick trip, stopped in Samaria to rest. John 4:4, where he encountered a woman at the well. John 4:7-26. And let's look at the encounter after the disciples left. And he said to his disciples, "I have food to eat which you do not know." Then the taught ones said to each other, "Did anyone bring him food to eat?" Yahushua said to them, "My food is to do the desire of him who sent me and to accomplish his work." And he has this quote here, "Do you not say there are still 4 months and the harvest comes? Say, I say to you, lift up your eyes and see the fields. So look at the fields, where they are white for harvest already. He who is reaping receives a reward and gathers fruit for everlasting life, so that both he who is sowing and who is reaping rejoice together." Let's go to the next page. It was the first month when Yahushua made this statement, "Wheat is white when it is ready for harvest. From the beginning of Abib to the end of the 4th month is 4 months. When the disciples turned around, all they saw were little spikes of green because the wheat had just been planted. However, Yahushua spoke of a harvest of soul, not the wheat." So this concludes the study. And I am just sharing my notes. Is subject for review, testing, comments, and feedbacks. We're all students. We're just reading the scripture. So let's look at the last page. And I encourage all the truth seekers to test everything. Be an independent thinker. Read and search the scripture yourself, as Yahushua said. So always remember this, because I always remember this. Even what I say here, don't trust. Read for yourself. As Yahushua said when he was asked which is the first command of all, he turns back and asks the question to the whoever who was asking him. He said, "What has been written?" So we always go back to what has been written. And how do you read it? And how do we read it? So all of us are supposed to be encouraging each other. We change notes, we study. Nobody is better than the other, but everyone are just students, and we have to work all our might, all our strength. Even the short study, put it to the test and prove everything. So it's tough when we are in a society where we are told that whoever is leading, they went to seminaries, they went to schools, and they're supposed to know everything. But the problem is churches are institutions. They could not change their doctrine. So prove everything, test everything, and see you in the next study. Shalom, shalom. Thank you very much, Barb, for letting me share my notes.